Hey, what's up everyone? How's it going? This is Waj, and in this video we're doing a head-to-head battery life comparison between the iPhone 6s Plus versus the Samsung Galaxy Note 5. So I've taken a couple of days to do some extensive battery testing on both of these two phablets in order to determine which one will give you the most battery performance possible right now. So if you're interested in that, let's go ahead and find out. Now, before we get into some of the battery performance results, let's take a look at the specifications on both these two devices. We'll start with the Samsung Galaxy Note 5. Now, the latest generation Note phone from Samsung is actually one of the first Note series device that doesn't have a user replaceable battery, which is kind of a bummer for some of you guys out there that like that feature. Now, in terms of core specs, the Note 5 has a 3020 milliamp hour lithium polymer battery. It has a couple of cool features in terms of the fast charging capability, so you can get from 0 to 100% within around 80 minutes based on my experience. You also have wireless charging capabilities for both PMA and Qi wireless chargers. Now, the iPhone 6s Plus also has a non-user replaceable battery. It's very similar in terms of capacity, just under 3000 milliamp hours. Now, in terms of charge time, if you use the standard 1 amp charger, it's going to take around 170 minutes, but if you use a 2 amp iPad charger, you can get this thing charged from 0 to 100% in just around 85 minutes. So unofficially, the iPhone actually has some fast charging capabilities. However, one thing that's still lacking from the latest generation iPhones is wireless charging capabilities. We still don't have that at this point. Okay, so with all that done, let's actually take a look at my battery performance test. Now, the first thing that I did is just do a standard video loop test. So I played a video on loop using the VLC media player app, and I basically turned the brightness to about 50% on both devices, and I also turned off the Wi-Fi and just measured how long each phone lasted. And as you can see here, the results over here on the Note 5, we got about 11 hours and 42 minutes. The iPhone 6s Plus actually got about 50 minutes more playtime, around 12 hours 31 minutes. So that's definitely pretty interesting results. And although it's not a massive difference between the two, you do find that the iPhone 6s Plus does have better battery life in this circumstance. Now, to do a little bit more critical analysis, let's actually use Geekbench 3's battery life performance test, and we're going to make sure again our screen brightness is fully cranked up. We're on the same Wi-Fi network and everything, so we can upload our results once the test is done. And we're going to just start it, and we'll come back and see what the result is. And quite a while later, here we are with the results. The Note 5 is getting a very impressive score of 8 hours 32 minutes versus about 7 hours 20 minutes on the iPhone 6s Plus. So here the results yield a better score on the Note 5. That might be just the way that Geekbench 3 favors the architecture of the Note 5. And one thing I have to preface on all these kind of more critical battery tests is that since they are so fixated on a specific application, in real world terms, you're going to be using these phones in different behavioral patterns. You're going to be using different apps and doing all sorts of things on them. So battery life really fluctuates depending upon what your user profile is. Now, in order to give you guys an impression of how these two fare against each other in terms of real world circumstances, I basically use both phones on a regular basis. I've been using the Note 5 for a couple of weeks now. I've pretty much used the iPhone 6s Plus since the day of its release on a constant basis, and based on my personal user profile, which does fluctuate here and there between the phones, but generally speaking, I got around 15 hours of average use time on the Note 5 and about 16 and a half hours so far on my iPhone 6s Plus, which has a couple of discharge cycles on it. So the battery is not fully broken in, but enough to kind of gauge a good understanding of how the battery performs. So generally speaking, both of these two phones are pretty similar in terms of their overall battery performance, but I think most likely the iPhone 6s Plus will give you a very slight edge over the Note 5, maybe 5 to 10% depending upon your usage. But really, other than that, guys, that's really it. Hopefully this video gave you some sort of understanding on how these two smartphones compare against each other, specifically when it comes to the battery performance. Now, we also have a dedicated speed test video as well as a dedicated camera comparison video. If you haven't checked that out already, those videos are in the description down below. But for this video, that's really it. Give us a like if you like this video, and we'll see you later. Take care.